Hey all, Blake Propak here, game designer for 1961, House Fish Balloon's first game. Got something special to show you today. 1971, 1961's first standalone sequel. I've got a prototype in my hand. If you look up here, you'll be able to see what it looks like now, and you can scroll below for more details. As you've probably noticed, 1971 brings us out of the dreary 60s and into the Technicolor 70s. A lot of the old mechanics return, like response system, so you still got a lot of mutually assured destruction to worry about, but we got a lot of new actions to use too. Cards like Invade and Counterculture kind of set the mood with the groovy 70 vibes. There's also a lot of new buildings and 6 new win conditions. I'm excited to show you more. First thing you're going to do, you're going to find the 6 victory cards. They look like this. You're going to shuffle them together, and you're going to deal 1 to each of the players that are playing. Every player is going to have to choose which side of the victory card they want to use this game. Once they choose, they're locked in. For instance, they might use World's Fair, which says win the game if you have 5 different buildings. Or they might choose the other side, Raven Rock. Win the game if you have 10 stacked cards in total. So you have 2 different options, and everybody will get to pick one. It might be that all of you have different options for this game. Next, you're going to deal each player 3 cards. Every player will then take one of those 3 cards and put it face down onto their victory card, like so, such that it's covering the bottom half of the card. That card will act as the final line of defense against the nuclear Armageddon. Place that in front of you so that you can see all of the words on the card, and then you'll start playing your turns. So how does a turn work? You draw 1 card from the top of the deck, that'll put you up to 3, and then you'll play 1 card from your hand. That'll put you back down to 2. If you have any building abilities, you'll get to activate those on your turn as well. But every turn you draw 1, you play 1. When you play a card, you get to choose how you play it. So you could play it as a building, that's the building side. You'll just play it face up, directly into your line of buildings. You'll start making a bigger and bigger line of buildings. When you play it, you can slide it in between your buildings, or you can put it on the left or the right. You just can't rearrange your buildings. From then on, the building will just do whatever it says. So this radar tower, for instance, says adjacent buildings can't be targeted by action cards. So that means that while it's active, while it's sitting there, it will just be performing that ability. Or you could play it as an action. If you play it as an action instead of building, it won't be there for long. You will play it to the center discard pile, and it'll just activate whatever it does. For instance, First Strike launches a missile. What is launching a missile? That's one of the core mechanics of 1971. To launch a missile, you're going to target any player, and you're going to launch a missile at every building that they have. If a building is undefended, say like this radar tower, if it has no cards stacked on it, it will just be destroyed. If it does have cards stacked on it, the top card of that stack will be destroyed and revealed. Now be careful though, because if that stacked card is a response system, it'll launch a missile directly back at the person that attacked them. So in this way, it could be that you'll launch a missile at your opponent, and then they might launch a couple missiles right back at you in the same turn, and then maybe you'll launch a few more and you both blow up, and it turns out the other guy wins. So be very careful when you launch a missile. Let me just show you a few of the new mechanics and some of my favorite cards from the upcoming game. Invade. Invade is really cool because it allows you to target any stack on the entire board. So you just pick a building, and it will destroy every card in that stack. But be careful, because when it reveals those response systems, they're going to launch a missile at you. Luckily, there's a card called Hippies. Hippies is a very special card in this game because it has many, many different uses. It reads, adjacent non-hippie buildings are disabled, meaning that if you slide it onto your own board, the buildings next to it, both of those buildings do not have any ability at all, don't have any text until the hippies are destroyed. One of your victory buildings or something might be right next to it, and it doesn't let you win so long as there's a hippies next to it, because the building is completely useless until it's gone. That said, a hippies can unlock the added potential of other cards. So like Invade, it destroys all of the cards in one stack, and it'll launch those response systems back at you. But if you have hippies, one of those response systems is completely negated. Similarly, First Strike, that launches a missile, if you have hippies, it will launch 2 missiles instead of 1. So hippies can upgrade and potentially create devastating attack cards. Another cool card from this game is Interstate Highway. Interstate Highway allows cards on adjacent building stacks to travel, meaning that if you have a building like this, and say you have a building on the other side, this stacked card during your turn could go onto the interstate highway, and then it could slide over to the next building. So you can kind of rearrange your stack cards in between it. With this and many other new mechanics in the game, it'll feel like a completely fresh experience for those of you that have played 1961 before. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to contact us or to read more below. Thanks for checking us out. I love you.